हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल। और आज हम एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक के बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे, दैट इज क्लाइमेट फीडबैक मैकेनिज्म्स, which is in line with my previous videos on greenhouse effect and greenhouse gases. So let's start. So climate feedbacks are the processes that can either amplify or reduce the effects of global warming. Climate feedbacks are of two types: positive feedback and negative feedback. A feedback that increases the warming is called positive feedback, while a feedback that reduces the warming is called negative feedback. In other words, we can say that a positive feedback amplifies the effects of climate change, which is not good for us, while negative feedback reduces the effects of climate change, which brings stability in the environment. In the slide, you can see the list of positive feedbacks and the negative feedbacks. So in the positive feedback, there are ice albedo feedback, melting of permafrost, water vapor feedback, clouds feedback, ocean warming mechanism. While in negative feedback, the list is clouds feedback, water vapor feedback, human feedback, and black body radiation. And you can see that water vapor feedback and clouds feedback, these comes within both the feedbacks, positive and negative, that we will discuss in detail in our coming slides. Now let's first discuss ice albedo feedback. In simple terms, albedo is the proportion of light reflected from its surface. Ice has a higher albedo than the ocean and most land surfaces. As the climate warms, more ice will melt and increase the amount of solar radiation absorbed by the surface, causing even more warming. That's why it is a positive feedback. So in the flow chart also you can see that when the global warming happens, ice starts melting. And when ice melts, then the albedo of the surface get decreased. And when the albedo decreases, then the absorption of solar radiation increases. And this gives a positive feedback. That means a rise in the temperature happens. So that's why overall the ice albedo feedback is a very good example of the positive climate feedback. So the next important climate feedback is water vapor feedback. So before jumping into these flow charts, I wanted to let you know a few interesting facts on water vapor. So currently water vapor accounts for approximately 50% of the Earth's greenhouse effect, as compared to carbon dioxide, which constitutes approximately 20% greenhouse effect. There is another interesting fact that the atmosphere contains about 250 times more water vapor, which is in gaseous phase, than liquid water and ice. Also, as per Clausius-Caprion equation, the water holding capacity of atmosphere increases by 7% for every 1 degree Celsius rise in temperature. So these were some important and interesting facts on water vapor. Now moving ahead to explain these two flow diagrams. So the first flow chart is about the positive feedback of water vapor, and the another one is negative feedback of the water vapor. So in the positive feedback, when the global warming happens and the temperature rises, then the evaporation rate increases, and with evaporation increasing evaporation rate, the solar radiation absorption rate is also increased. So that gives a positive feedback to the temperature rise, which causes global warming. In the negative feedback, when the global warming happens, again the evaporation rate will increase, which will cause cloud cover. And then, as we know that cloud cover has higher albedo, that means it reflects the sunlight. So when it reflects the sunlight, then the cooling process happens, which gives a negative feedback to the global warming process. So these were the two aspects of water vapor feedback, which acts as both a positive feedback mechanism and as a negative feedback mechanism. Now the next feedback is cloud feedbacks. Clouds reflect around 1/3 of incoming solar radiation. but also absorb outgoing long wave radiation. Clouds also have both positive and negative feedback on the climate system, depending on the type of cloud and its location. High clouds trap more heat, while low clouds reflect more sunlight. So in the flow diagram, we can see that when the global warming happens, then the height of the troposphere increases. I will not dive deeper into this particular point, but the increasing of the height of troposphere causes cloud rise higher, and these higher clouds trap more outgoing long wave radiation, which has a positive impact on the temperature rise and thereby accelerating the process of global warming. While in the negative feedback, as we have already discussed in water vapor feedback, that with global warming, rate of evaporation increases, which in turn increases the cloud cover, which has higher albedo, which in turn causes the cooling process, which has a negative feedback on the overall global warming process. So just like water vapor feedback, cloud feedbacks also have both positive and negative climate feedback. But the overall feedback, according to the IPCC Assessment Report 5, cloud feedbacks have a positive feedback on the system if we take a resultant of these two feedbacks. Then the next important feedback is melting of permafrost. Around 25% of northern hemisphere is covered by permafrost. Permafrost is any ground that remains completely frozen for at least 2 straight years. These permanently frozen grounds are most common in regions with high mountains and in Earth's higher latitudes near the North and South Pole. Permafrost is also referred to as time bomb because large deposits of methane and carbon dioxide are trapped beneath the permafrost, and as the surface warms, these gases can be released in the atmosphere, accelerating the process of global warming. So in this flowchart also you can clearly see that when the global warming will happen, then it will cause permafrost to melt. And when these permafrost melts, then this will release large amount of carbon dioxide and methane that will increase the greenhouse effect, which in turn will accelerate the process of global warming. That this will have a huge positive feedback on the overall process of climate change and global warming. Last but not the least, I would like to discuss about the human feedback. Since the climate change of this era is human induced, so it becomes important to discuss this. So human feedback is expected to have negative feedback because when global warming have negative impact on society, then different greenhouse gas abatement programs and policies will get implemented, which is already happening. That will decrease the greenhouse gas emissions, which in turn will decrease the global warming. So that was it in today's video. Hope you find it interesting and have got to learn from it. For more such interesting and knowledgeable video, please do like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel. Let's meet with new video next time. Till then, be safe. Namaskar.